You're watching this video because you're seeking alpha. You want to beat the market. You want to get an edge. You're not satisfied with an index fund. How do you do it? How do you get an edge? How do you beat the market? My name's Kojo Mienza, and I'm with a firm called Africap. Last year, we tripled the S&P 500. We returned three times what an index fund would have returned for our investors last year. And a lot of that reason is because we applied an edge. What's your edge? What makes you special? Why are you going to beat the market? You're not going to beat the market by following the hottest trends of the hottest stocks, because that's what everyone else is doing. You're going to get the same results in all likelihood. You're definitely not going to beat the market by just holding everything. Not to say diversification is bad, but there should be some parts of your portfolio where you're overweight certain selections to beat the market. How do you get an edge? The first thing to remember or know about getting an edge is the concept of the circle of competence. Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger speak about this, and it's a very astute understanding and a very wise addition. Everyone has certain things that they know that maybe the average finance person or the average algorithmic or quantitative trader does not consider. Because remember, you're competing against all of them if you want to beat the market. So, how do you understand your circle of competence? Well, there should be something that you know, or something that you have, or even something that you are that makes you different, that gives you an advantage. I'll use myself as an example. One of the reasons we beat the market last year is because I have a little bit of an edge when it comes to technology investments. I have had a long career in IT, cybersecurity, I've done software development, a former Microsoft. And so last year, the biggest movers on the market were mostly AI and other tech stocks. When the market sold off because of DeepSeek, I went in, read the white paper. I had already been studying AI training, how models were trained, how to evaluate models. So I looked and I realized that the hype was a little bit unwarranted. People were selling off Nvidia, selling off Google, selling off Microsoft. And when they sold, we bought and bought and bought and kept buying. And when they finally realized, when the headlines came out and everyone had realized, hey, DeepSeek's not actually that great, and the stocks go back up, we beat the market, right? When Trump had his tariffs and people are selling certain stocks that are not going to be involved with the tariffs off of panic, and those are tech stocks, software-oriented tech stocks. Google's not going to be affected by tariffs. People were selling Google. We bought. When people realized that they had, sort of panic sold, and they started buying back in, well, our position rises with that. That's how you get an edge. It should be something that you know better than what other people know. Maybe you have studied biology. Maybe you're a pharmacist and you can get an edge in pharmaceutical stocks. Maybe you worked in manufacturing or some other industrial. And so when certain supply chain shortages happen, you're able to understand how that's going to affect the market, what stocks that's going to affect, what ETFs, what commodities. You have an edge. Everyone has some sort of an edge. Even particular temperament can be an edge. If you look at Warren Buffett, I think his edge is patience. He patiently reads 10Ks. He's out there in Nebraska. He's not on the street. What's your edge? What makes you special? How are you going to beat the market? How do you beat the street? Aside from AI, I also studied energy. I used to do physical commodity trading. and the most widely traded commodity is oil. So I figured I should learn everything there is to know about oil. So I read this and learned nuts to bolts how the oil market works. What are the components of the oil market? What are the industry players? How much capital does it take to do each part of the operation? How do you make gasoline? How do you make LNG? I understand the inputs. When things happen in the Middle East, got an edge. AI and data centers rely on hardware, software, edge plus energy. Edge plus edge shows you how we beat the market by 3x. Now, this doesn't mean that you just buy based totally on that. We still need to do our quantitative analysis as well. And we also need to do other elements of qualitative analysis. You don't just buy just based off of one thing. We'll be talking about that and more in subsequent videos. If you want to learn more about how to analyze stocks, how to beat the market, how to put together a portfolio that outperforms but still has a good level of diversification for safety, if you don't want to just give all your money to BlackRock and Goldman and tell them to manage your money, if you want to direct your capital, if you care where your capital goes to, one of the reasons I even learned finance when I was in tech was because I didn't trust my 401k being handled by any company on the street. I don't want to invest in war. I don't want to invest in the gambling industry, right? I want to invest in things that I felt as if were going to make the world better, but also make me financially better off. If you want to take control of your own finances and stop letting Larry Fink and BlackRock control a large share of the capital in this country, if you want to learn how to do it yourself, follow us, learn. Aside from that, if anybody wants to reach out for a free consultation, we're available, open to talk, totally free of charge. We do manage money for clients, but this isn't a solicitation. We're not open to any clients right now. We're not taking any new clients. It's free consultation. We will be coming out potentially with an app that'll help you, break down and actually kind of automate all the analysis that we've put together from our proprietary systems into a system that allows you to be a stock analyst without having to take all the time to figure it out. We boiled everything down, put it into one package, and give it to you. If you're interested in something like that, let us know too. Thank you for watching. My name is Kojo Mianza from AfriCap. Stay tuned. Learn how to win.